Hey guys, Ragnar Hyper Revived here, and this will be Lies CC2 Told Us. CC2, as most people know anyway, is the company in charge of the production of the Naruto Storm games. It is known as CyberConnect 2 to some, CC2 to the more savvy of the Naruto information, as well as the other games that they made, but I'm more interested in Naruto for this. And they told us a crap ton of lies during the production, the pre-release, and the post-release period of Naruto. And so, I've compiled a list of the lies they told, and I'll go into detail about each of them. So the first one, chakra charge while moving. Now, this would have been really useful, and this is incredibly heartbreaking to me because it would have been very useful to combat long-range spammers such as Deidara, Madara, the Puppeteers, or the Fireball users. And that's not to say Madara is a spam character, but generally speaking, when people use him, they just hit the circle button regardless of where they are, and they just spam combos, which is possible. It's not as prevalent as other forms of spam, but usually when you have a character with a longer range, like Kid Gaara or Madara, people are just going to sit there and press circle as much as they can. So that's that, and it would have been really useful because characters are useless without chakra, which is kind of how it should be. But all the same, those who have instant awakenings don't recover chakra as quickly. Usually, you have an instant awakening. Or when you don't have an instant awakening, when you get to the point where you can awaken, your chakra recovers automatically. It recovers to the full, to the max, so that you can awaken really quickly, which I think is kind of cheap. But anyway, the instant awakening characters don't have that, which is kind of a good thing because it balances them out a little. But in all truth, if you don't use instant awakening as much, or you don't use them as frequently as other characters, as other players do, then you're just getting penalized for something that you don't intend. So, that's just that. The second lie was awakening from the start. Now, this wasn't necessarily a lie, but I'm counting it. Instant awakening is not the same thing as awakening from the start, necessarily. When I hear awaken from the start, I think like Naruto Storm, the original, when you could just choose an awakened character and play as them from the get-go, finish the battle with them, etc., and you would never run out of your awakened form or whatever. Whereas instant awakening is slightly different. It's like you start off as your normal character and you have to shift the analog stick to awaken. Now, I hope they bring back the awaken from the start in Revolution. It looks like they might do it with Biju Cloak Naruto. Either that or he's just his own character. But, if they do bring back the Awaken from the start, it'll be pretty awesome. It'll probably be unbalanced and broken, but then again, everything in the game is, so that's not really saying much. Next lie was Biju Cloak Naruto, who was supposed to be a playable character. The trailer showed Biju Cloak Naruto performing an epic ultimate jutsu, and according to PS360 HD2, it was confirmed that he was playable. However, Biju Cloak was neither a playable character nor an awakened character. He was instead a subtly, falsely advertised character on the box of the case, whom loads of people wanted, but no one could get. Thankfully, he looks like he's going to be a standalone character in Revolution, but let's not get too excited about that just yet. There might be more lies waiting for us in the future. Lie number 4. Edokages. Now, this isn't as much as a big deal to me as it is to other people. Gaara's father and the second Tsuchikage's movesets are almost carbon copies of Gaara and Onoki's, it seems. And I noticed that from the original trailers that they showed. The transvestite Mizukage dude would have been even more annoying online than Deidara with his rapid-fire projectiles. I mean, when I fought him in the boss battle in the story mode, I was getting annoyed, and I was like, I hope this guy is not playable, because this is going to be insane, fighting this guy, just spamming those square combos, and they're so fast that it's hard to deal with. He reminded me of the wisdom form of Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2, when Sora, is flipping all back and forth, and he shoots those projectiles out of his Keyblade, which is really cool, but not in an online fighting game. Probably the only interesting character to use would have been the Raikage. That said, I was hoping for a team name involving Gaara and his family. Gaara and his father would have been cool. And the 3 Mizukage, so that kind of sucks that we don't have them. Next lie, Kinkaku and Ginkaku. Pretty much the same as the Edo Kage, except that these guys don't really fight by themselves, so their mechanics were always pretty questionable. Perhaps they would have functioned as a Kiba type character, or with Kinkaku or Ginkaku as a force support if you chose one or the other as a main. That could have worked if CC2 gave a fuck. Next lie, the 7 Swordsmen of the Hidden Mist. Now it sucks having a full Akatsuki roster and not having a full 7 Swordsman roster, especially since they have movesets in a sense. So many missed opportunities for team names and epic swords versus swords battles. That's really all I can say about that. Next lie, and this is a big one, 80 plus playable characters, which it says directly on the box blurb on the back. Actually, unless my math is incorrect, and it probably is, there are exactly 80 playable characters, if you don't include the support only characters. Besides that, at least 1/4 of the roster are different forms of Naruto, and another 1/4 of the roster are different forms of Sasuke. And okay, that's hyperbole, but seriously, if you count the number of characters minus the duplicates, you get about 72 characters, and that's counting each of the Tobis as different characters, because they do have very different movesets from each other, so I think that's fair. But assuming that Tobi's identity will be revealed in Revolution, because it has been in the anime, they can probably combine all the Tobis into one slot, along with a maskless and older form of Obito. And they can do that the same thing for Naruto, and for Gaara, and for Choji, and whoever else has an unnecessary duplicate slot. And basically, to put it bluntly, at least in Soul Calibur or Super Smash Bros., when there's a clone character, like how Patroclus Alpha is a clone of Setsuka from Soul Calibur 4, or how Ganondorf is a clone of Captain Falcon, at least they try to dress it up with a different skin and a different voice actor. And I'm not saying that that's preferable, but in Naruto it's like they don't even try to hide it. All of the duplicate characters are literally right next to their original characters, taking up slots that they don't flipping deserve. Next lie, no PTS characters. This was a huge lie. When the images of the roster were originally leaked, many people thought that the game was hacked or that the image was fake. Why PTS characters? And why the most annoying ones? Lee, Neji, Kid Gaara? Really? Of all the PTS characters they could have added, it's so unbelievably random that I'm actually forced to believe that, pressed for time during the production of the game, CC2 copy-pasted those 3 characters to make up for characters who weren't included. And if you think about it, if they left out PTS Neji, PTS Lee, PTS Hinata, and PTS Gaara, who are the 4 most random PTS characters in the roster, that would leave just enough for either the 4 leftover Swordsmen of the Mist or the 4 Edo Kage. Just saying. At any rate, they should have either said fuck it and put in all the PTS characters, or just left them all out. They are direct imports from Storm 1 with minor tweaks, meaning they are suited for a casual offline action game, not a competitive online fighting game, and it shows. PTS Lee, PTS Neji, and PTS Gaara are 3 of the most broken characters in the game, and they shouldn't even be in the fucking game. Next slide, no support only characters. Support characters just fail on every possible account, especially since the only 3 really useful ones are Shino's dad, the fat guy from the Rock Village, and Ino's cousin. The rest are only useful for team names, really, and they really just feel like they take up space in a game in which they don't belong. That said, why are there only so many support characters? I mean, really, how many are there, like 8? If my math is correct, that should be right. But anyway, if all you have to do is give them some half-ass jutsu, which doesn't even hit most of the time, why were Kurenai, Anko, Shizune, and all the other characters taken out? I mean, it's not like they really care about balance, seeing as how they put Sage Kabuto in the fucking game, and all these other characters like Hanzo and Madara, who are completely unbalanced in terms of range and other things like that. Why weren't Kinkaku, Ginkaku, the Edo Kage, and the 7 Swordsmen of the Hidden Mist included as support-only characters if they already have Jutsu, Shuriken, Chakra Shuriken, and potential attack support-type combo animations? And furthermore, why weren't characters like Kushina, Rin, and even other ninja included as support-only? Finally, if fucking Karin has an entire moveset including an ultimate jutsu and exists within the game as a fully playable character, what besides sheer malice or laziness is keeping CC2 from expanding the already existing movesets of the support-only and non-playable characters into those for fully playable characters? Many of these characters have had at least one fight scene, which would be sufficient to at least create 3 combos, a generic awakening, and an ultimate jutsu as lame as, say, Ino's or Choji's. Yet, Karin, a character who doesn't fight and exists only to lick cock and have her whore blood sucked every 5 seconds, has a full-blown moveset and two different ultimate jutsu animations. And the final lie I could think of, can't add new characters to the game. This is what they said when people were complaining about the Edo Kage and the Seven Swordsmen and Kinkaku and Ginkaku. CC2 said that the way the game is set up, we just can't add new characters. Sage fucking Kabuto. Enough said. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Okay, no, but seriously, if Little Big Planet can systematically add DLC to the game, shifting the very mechanics of the platform game, and extending the replay value for months on end, then I always cringe when developers say that they can't do something. Like in COD Ghosts, how they couldn't have 9v9 because of all the, customization options, which kind of makes sense, but all the same, it always sounds like an excuse when a developer says they can't do something. I mean, it's like, oh my god, it's 2014 and we can't do something as simple as adding characters with an almost full moveset to the game. And we were almost led to believe them until they did just that with the addition of Sage Kabuto in an entirely fucking new arc of the storyline, complete with cutscenes and a full boss battle. Either that DLC was complete from the beginning and programmed into the game but locked off or something from the start, or CC2 and Namkai Bandai have teams full of compulsive liars who will do anything to sell a product and make a quick buck. Either way, we were swindled and Full Burst is a sham. So, will the pre-release period and post-release periods of Naruto Revolution yield even more lies? Will CC2 literally step their game up, or will Revolution be the most broken, frustrating Naruto storm yet? Find out next time on Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Budokai Tenkaichi Tekken Calibur Revengeance Smash Royale Dead or Alive Storm Revolution!
お前の実力は内派の際に遠く及ばない。